So I'm an 80s baby, 90s kid, 2000s teenager. So I don't remember the 80s and 90s sports car craze from the 80s and 90s. I was barely walking back then. So I have no recollection of what it was like, what the hobby was like, what prices were like relative to today. But luckily for me, I found this video from the 80s. A guy did a senior project on sports cards back in the late 80s, and it's on YouTube. So we're going to react to that and compare and contrast this craze to now to see if there are any similarities back then and now as far as a bubble goes. Let's get into it. Oh, this is so 80s, so 90s.
The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner, the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke.
Wow, that's crazy. Like, this is gonna be so good. He just ripped some packs and just walking out, no sleeves. Just what did I get? He didn't film the break. That is hilarious. What I was gonna say is it's kind of interesting how it's baseball. So I guess this is gonna be mostly about baseball cards.
Baseball.
Look at him.
Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and
So this is what you old guys are talking about. I just walk to the store and get me a pack and go in there. I used to come out with packs and then I rip them. We see what I got. I wanted that George Griffin card.
they knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Oh no, he hasn't ripped them yet.
Especially
Okay.
Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
Gee, collecting baseball cards has sure changed since Dad was a kid.
Wow. Whoa. I think it's so crazy and so trippy how we're always in the future. You can never get to the future. We're just always there. That's a topic for another day.
There's anything that's American, it's baseball cards.
The card shows.
If there's anything...
Guys, oh my God. This is the exact same situation.
It's American, it's baseball cards.
This is 20 minutes long. Oh my God, let's go. Yo, look at this, man. It's the exact same thing. You know what's crazy is I remember being at a car show as maybe 4 or 5 years old, but it wasn't like this. They would be empty rooms, yo. This was like the mid 90s. The rooms would be pretty much empty. So I'm not new to car shows, the concept of a car show, but I'm new to seeing them as packed as they are, basically.
If there's anything that's American, it's baseball cards.
My granddad was always in sports cars. By the time he committed and was like, okay, this is a thing, it was around this time. And he caught the tail end of it. And he sold all of his Jordans and oh my God. It's so crazy to think about. But yo, older guys, you know what I'm saying? It's not kids. You know, I would have thought I would have expected to see a room full of kids, but yeah, it's older guys. There's some kids. Wow.
Become a multi-million-dollar business.
Wow, multi-million-dollar business. The same words.
It's a real nice hobby.
A hobby. Oh, this is terrifying, guys. This makes me want to just stop. Just hold off until it cools off. Because to really think about it, the time to get into sports cars was back when, think about it. Think about if you came into sports cars during the era that I said that I was walking around, the rooms were empty. that was the mid 90s. That's peak Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So that was the peak time to start collecting cards. 95, 96, that era, that was the best time to get in. It wasn't during this time.
Everybody's in it to make a fortune.
Oh my God. This is going to be so epic. We're just in the intro. Stock exchange. I mean, let's be real. This is a high school project. This is pretty good for a high school project, man. Cardboard Dreams, 1990. The turn of the decade.
But I got into the hobby. I was able to salvage about 100 cards from my boyhood collection. When my family moved out of Newark, we took the cat and left the cards. And I had a big collection. And I saw an ad in the back of a Baseball Digest in 1971 that there was going to be a baseball card show in Greenwich Village in a loft. And this just amazed me. So I went there and I brought a couple of my cards. And just as I got through the door, a kid, maybe about 15 years old, ran up to me and said, "Do you have some baseball cards?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I see them?" And he took out two of the cards, and one was a 1951 Mickey Mantle, which was his rookie, and one was a 1951 Willie Mays, which was his rookie. And he said to me, "I'll buy these two cards from you." And I said, "For how much?" And he said, $15. And I thought that was unbelievable. $15.
Yo, this is insane. So he bought the Mickey. What a genius kid. Wonder what he's doing right now.
For two baseball cards. I mean, you could buy boxes of cards for that much money.
I mean, he's probably dead if you really think about it, because this guy's he's probably in his 40s. But that's pretty crazy. That's a hell of a story, man.
I sold him the two cards, which today would be worth over $10,000.
The real
$10,000. Now, I wish I had the hindsight of knowing what having $10,000 was like back then. But I imagine that $10,000 was, I mean, you probably could get a nice car for $10K. I'm pretty sure you could probably get a BMW for $10K or something like that. In 1990, a new BMW prices range from roughly $21,000. Okay, so not quite a BMW entry level to over, and it was so okay. I mean, that's still like really cheap though. So we can say a new BMW now is like 100. Okay, 750 was 70K. 750 now is probably like 170 or something like that. So it's almost as much as a car. So a Mickey Mantle has gone up it's actually worth way more than that now, as far as how much value is stored in that card.
Spirit of baseball card collecting lies in the older cards. We get involved in cards from the 1910 era on through the present time, but we specialize in the 1910 through the 1970s. And we feel that a good representative area of that is the Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Duke Snider, and in my case, my favorite, the old Brooklyn Dodgers.
You collect for the tradition of the sport and not for the investment value, correct?
Yes, I'm a Dodger fan right away. Jackie Robinson Dodgers, you might call them.
I feel very strong.
Well, one thing we know for sure is those cards are still up. So the sad part about that is those cards suck. They're hideous. They're old. Ugh.
That there are too many baseball card companies since 1985 in the market. There's 6 or 7 major companies right now. I like the spirit of the Topps and the original Bowmans back in the late 40s and into the 50s and 60s when they were the only card companies.
I found today that the market for older cards in real nice condition, near mint to mint condition, you can, in many cases, double the price in the book. If a card says $500, I have no trouble getting $800 to $1,000 for it. Any quality old cards I have sell almost immediately. People do like them. As I said before, the money is available, so they do move. They don't move to the young kids.
Yo, look at this scene right here, man. This is the same thing as now, man. The cases, the boxes, the fat guys.
Hanukkah, that's when a lot of these cards are sold to the kids. But the adult collector will come in, there's no problem, paying a few $100s for a really nice condition card. If the card isn't in such great shape, then you may wind up holding it for a while.
As far as selling older cards to new cards, I don't sell as much. Although once, I'll sell a card worth $100. I'll sell a card like that once in a while. But people
A $100 card once in a while. That's like $1,000 now.
don't want to lay out $100 for a card. They rather buy a Manly rookie for $30 or $40, knowing that someday that card's going to be a $200 card. They'd rather not buy the card that costs $200 now. They really like that special play, they will. But nobody really wants to come in and spend $200 on a card. Everybody wants to buy the newest stars. They'll spend $50, but on a Manly rookie or a Canseco rookie, cards like that. A lot of people really, the trend is going, they want to buy the packs, the wax packs as they're called. And they want to buy the older ones. That's the hottest thing. People want to buy wax packs like from 84, 85, 86.
The worst
like
years. I think those aren't the worst ones. I think the worst ones are like the late 80s. I think that when you start getting into the mid years, that's when it starts to become more and more junk.
86 packs. These are worth $5 a pack. Okay? People rather buy this, but
I love the way he held it between his finger. That was so boss.
86 packs. These are worth $5 a pack. Okay? People rather
He did the Donald Trump.
$5 a pack. Okay? People rather buy this, spend $5.
This is what they want to buy. They want to buy this $5 pack.
Try to get a Jose Canseco rookie that's worth $70. They'd rather do this than buy a $70
Jose
card.
Canseco. I don't know which Jose Canseco he's talking about, but this one's $4 now. So that's kind of insane that, like, with the logic that we use today, well, if we're going to experience a lot of inflation, the cars will still go up. It's like, theirs didn't, so I don't know, man. You would think that back then you would have thought that, yeah, it should be a lot worth thousands of dollars in the future, but nah, man, it's actually worth even way less.
Although the odds are you're not going to get it. But, there are some good cards in there. But old wax packs from like 80 and up, really are big sellers. But like I said, the new card market has really taken over the old cards. If you look around my store, 80% of my cards are newer cards. I have very few older baseball cards.
One of the nicest things I see that I get a real kick out of is when a kid comes in and says, have a Pee Wee Reese card. Do you have any Pee Wee Reese cards? Do you have a Duke Snyder card? I was taken back when some kids didn't know who Duke Snyder was. That's my favorite ball player. I had trouble allowing the kid to stay in the store. But there aren't many. There really aren't many. Most of the kids will come into the store and look at my rookie case and try to buy a lot of rookies. Some have their favorite teams. There are a lot of Met and Yankee collectors around here. So that's good. In Oakland A's, there are a lot of collectors around here also. But many of the little kids are just into running in, buying the price guide, looking at the card in the showcase, and if it says $1 in the price guide and it says $1.10 on my card, they won't buy it. But if it says 90 cents, they've already made a dime. That's kind of disappointing.
Yo, they're basically doing card ladder in slow motion, basically, by looking through a book. That's insane, man. The more things change, the more they say the same.
I'd rather collect newer cards because older cards, they're like no packs around, and plus like they're expensive, and newer cards have potential to rise, and they're excellent potential for investment.
Wrecked. Don't be that guy.
So you think the investment aspect is good for baseball cards?
Oh, just for rookies, yeah. So if you come up with the rookie cards, the only cards right now you're going to make money off of, because now the way they put out cards now and the millions, no cards worth money unless you're going to be mistake cards or they're going to be they're rookies, because the only cards you're going to make money off of now.
Now the market is...
Wow. It's the same thing, man. I don't know if it's the same thing because it's the hobby and that's how the hobby has always been. Like, you know what I would like to see now is a video from when sports cards weren't hot.
Even changing more. Everybody wants to buy rookie cards because people realize those are the big cards to buy. Rookies and second-year cards. That's how I'm trying to sell cards. I'm just trying to sell rookie cards eventually.
I think one of the problems today in the hobby is that you have a lot of young kids. When I was growing up, we collected. We checked the checklists, we flipped the cards, we played games with them, we learned the statistics. I remember eating breakfast and having baseball cards on the table and looking at the stats and so forth. Kids today, most of them, which is pretty sad, are just looking.
He's like, look at how he looked at it.
Kids
Is that
today,
a PSA 9?
most of them, which is...
Oh, no, I see some bending on the edges on that. I'm good on that one. I want to, if I can't if I can't gym it.
Pretty sad are just looking at it for investment value. And they may pick out 3 or 4 guys to invest in. I get calls all the time, will you sell me 100 of this guy or 100 of that guy? For example, last year at this time, people were calling for Greg Jeffries like crazy. By July, I couldn't sell a Greg Jeffries card. Now, all these little kids that had invested, in some cases, actually hundreds of dollars, were getting turned off. There was no collecting going on. They put the cards immediately into holders or into boxes, into sheets, and rarely look at them. And I don't think that's the idea of the hobby. What I try to encourage people to do is look at it both ways, the kids. When a parent comes in and asks for a suggestion, I say, pick out something you really like. If you like the Mets, if you like the Yankees, if you like certain players, collect them. Get a little album, collect them, and don't worry about the value. Just, it's nice to have this. It's nice to show your friends and so forth. And also maybe...
That's interesting, because a lot of the advice that I hear from people now is they say, collect what you like. Yeah, let's say that, right? But then they'll still bring in the investment idea of it. This guy didn't even bring the investment idea back into the conversation. He just said, collect it and it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It's collect it, you like it, it's cool. You know, not collect it. And then over time, some of the value, you know what I'm saying? He's still trying to bring the investment into it.
Buy the sets each year, or pick out 1 or 2 guys and buy some cards. But if you do it strictly as investment, that's the only reason, you will get burned eventually. And you'll get burned pretty hard, because maybe only 1 out of every 5 rookies will make it. I mean, I can name guys like...
Man, he said 1 out of every 5. No, it's more like 1 out of every, I would say a couple hundred. You're going to get to a couple hundred players before you find anybody that's really worth keeping.
Like Sam Horn and Joe Charbonneau, that people bought like crazy. They were out of baseball.
Don't know either one of those guys.
Well, some of the kids are getting, maybe they're too sophisticated to be collectors. Now they want to be investors. They want to come in with $20 and buy 20 cards for $1 a piece and then sell them for $2 a piece, that kind of thing, which is really the wrong approach to a nice hobby. Hobby is a hobby is a hobby. You know, it's like collecting rocks. What are you going to do? Buy one and sell one the next day? You know, you collect them.
Yeah, man.
Admire them and look at them. Hey, a lot of kids are misdirected today, and that doesn't deter the good collectors, though. You got old guys walking around, gray hair, collecting cards that have been collecting since they were kids. You know, they could show you their Mickey Mantles. They could show you their old, you know, it's a real nice hobby. You don't have to be a millionaire to indulge in it. You buy a card for $1, for half a buck, whatever. You know, if you like Yankees, you collect Yankees. If you like Dodgers, you collect Dodgers, that kind of thing. I think it's a beautiful hobby. A couple of guys are always going to come along that, you know, going to ruin it.
It's not just for the sport, it's for collection as well. Yeah. Investment, but it's more for, because I love the sport. You know, it's not just for investment. Adults do it somewhat as an investment, as a collection.
I want to hear an adult say they invest. I just can't wait to hear that guy that says he invests.
So, what
do you think?
I think also the kids now can relate more to the Griffies and the people nowadays than they can to the older stars. And I think those will be their Babe Ruths of the future. You know, that's why they're putting their money into that now.
Hey, he was right about that, because these I always call it, I pick on them because they're like a few years older than me, this generation. I always pick on them. But man, they love their Griffey. They just can't get off that Griffey. And who else? It's like the only guy, Barry Sanders. Those are their guys. But their prices aren't going up though. And I think that's kind of a problem too, because we're in a hype cycle right now. So that means that these guys aren't going to be worth anything, just like these guys aren't. So it's going to be I don't know, man. It's not looking good for this era of card printing. It's a lot.
I prefer newer cards so I can get the players that I like to watch on TV.
Yeah, your heroes?
Yeah.
I think that what we're seeing is that there are a tremendous number of cards being printed each year, in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of cards. I remember, though, since 1978, people talking about that it's a fad, that it's going to be oversaturated. I know people that got out of collecting because they were sure the hobby was over, and now they kill themselves when they look and see how much money they've lost by getting rid of their collections. I think this is different than other collectibles in that coins and stamps, you know, you never see on TV. There isn't a whole section in the newspaper each day on coins and stamps. You have baseball. You have on the news all the time. You have on the radio just the sports channel, which very soon will be all baseball. So I don't know that there'll ever be an...
Yo, he was so wrong about so many things. For one, it was pretty much over. The guy in the 70s, from the 70s, said it was over. So he was kind of early on it, but he still missed out. But he was close. He was off by a couple of years. Well, it depends on when the conversation took place. But saying that the TV was only going to be showing baseball, like the only sport people were going to care about was baseball, is wild.
I think this is different than other collectibles in that coins and stamps, you never see on TV. There isn't a whole section in the newspaper each day on coins and stamps.
So there was a section in the newspaper about sports cards? I mean, that was your sign that you're in a bubble.
You have baseball. You have on the news all the time. You have on the radio just the sports channel, which very soon will be all baseball. So I don't know that there'll ever be an oversaturation of cards. What I've predicted, and we've already seen it a couple of times, is an oversaturation of dealers. All right? What we find is that there are a lot of guys getting into the hobby, and all they're selling is 1988s, 89s, and 90s. And those cards, if that's all you have, you're going to close your store pretty quickly, and a lot of them already are.
He's spot on. Then I hear that, from some of the older guys. They talk about they're saying the same type of language. Like, if you're dealing with that stuff, you're going to lose.
Stuff is tough to get, and it's very expensive for a dealer to get it. But I don't think... The big thing that I've seen is up until 1983, I could call Topps or Fleer or Don Russ at the end of the year and buy the clearance stock, the stuff that was returned. Since 1983, nothing's returned.
I don't think there can be oversaturation.
I wonder if I bet it did, though. It came back. The clearance. It's like a wave, like right now, it's cool, but I think this isn't the time. I mean, if you've been in, congratulations. If you've been in sports cars from, this whole time, or from, the 2000s to now, congratulations. If you're just getting into it, I would say prepare for a boring time and just prepare to try and stick with it and ride the down. It almost makes more sense to just be like, don't even bother right now and just wait till the stuff goes on clearance. But who knows when that'll be, right? But it probably will happen fast. It'll probably be here fast. Like, we'll be doing good. And I'm not saying it's going to happen next year, but, next year, people they ain't caring about cards anymore for some reason. We've moved on to something else. And then stuff gets cheap.
I don't think there can be oversaturation. They're only going to buy what they want. And eventually, when that point will come, and the manufacturers I think they pretty much got their finger on the pulse of the industry.
Holy! That's exactly what people are saying about Topps. That's the exact same thing people are saying. I think Topps knows what they're doing. Topps, they seen what happened with the junk wax era, and they're not gonna let that happen again. That's the exact same thing people are saying.
They're only going to buy what they want. And eventually, when that point will come, and the manufacturers I think they pretty much got their finger on the pulse of the industry. They know where to stop.
Oh my goodness, that is insane. Talk about being on the wrong side of history.
Topps seems to be coming out with more and more and more, and it just, in that aspect, like Topps seems to be overdoing it with a lot of extra sets. The other companies aren't doing the same type of thing. Your Kmart, they're reasonably priced, so the cheaper people who can afford not to spend as much as other people will go and collect those, and they are nice cards for the price you pay. And you'll always have your baseball collectors.
Wait a second. Man, even this stuff is worthless. Pretty depressing.
What?
For kids today, for their age, it's getting more and more difficult because the prices are going higher. It's not something I would say it's kids, it's more adults today.
Today, the younger card collectors really have no loyalty to either the player, the team, or the card itself. They simply want to know what it's worth and how much it will be worth.
Facts.
When I was young, we collected cards for the players who were on them because of loyalties we had developed. Today, it's all investment. It's a business even for the youngest kids.
When you were talking about the older cards and collecting, I look at this. This is a 1953 card of Pee Wee Reese, right? And these were the only Topps cards that were actually done as oil paintings. It's the second year that Topps put out a major set, and I'm a Brooklyn Dodger fan. Pee Wee Reese is a Hall of Famer. I think these cards are great. I love the older cards. On the back, they would have a cartoon, and there'd be a trivia question. It was neat stuff, plus some of the statistics. Then you turn over to the 1990 cards, and right off the bat you see the marketing change. Because right on the front, there it is, Topps. Every company today puts the name of their card on the front, which I think is ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense to me. The other interesting...
That's crazy. I would have never seen a problem with that. Like, that's like naturally normal. But I guess that was like kind of, come on, man, move the logo.
The thing is, if you look at the Pee Wee Reese card, you'll see that the corners have some wear. Because when we were growing up, we never thought that it was going to be like this. I remember in order to win flipping contests, taping the corners of the card so they'd be heavier and they would go further distances. And what you used to play, the two games we played was who could get closest to the wall, and you would take the card and flip it like this. That was the move.
You want to do it
now,
now,
the other thing
though.
was Topsies, where you'd have to get the card on top of the other card. If it was on the white margin, it didn't count. It had to be actually touching the color of the card. I remember some days winning hundreds of cards, and I remember once losing my entire collection to an older kid, and my brother went and got it back for me, my older brother, because he thought it was unfair.
So, what? This is so eye-opening. Like, that whole Topps logo on the card, I would have never seen that as a problem or thought that people thought that was a problem. Like, it would took me a million years to figure. If you said, what did people not like about cards? You know how long it would have took me to guess the Topps logo on the card? A long time. Like, if you upscale this to 4K, I would think it was today. I just wonder, like, I still have a lot of my granddad's 80s stuff. Like, I have, like, some binders of this 80s baseball stuff that I just keep in the binders, and I'm always tempted to just, like, sell it just to get it. But it's like, just keep it. Just keep keeping it. Just keep keeping it. And I wonder, like, if this stuff is going to ever come back. Because I'm always in the back of my mind, like, man, there's still a limited supply of this stuff. And a lot of it just gets... when it gets passed on and thrown out, I think it all just ends up in the trash can, man. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking all this stuff slowly finds its way to a trash can. I've thrown away a ton of it. I don't know any of the players. I don't have time to... where do y'all think? I wonder how long it'll take for this stuff to come back and, like, start going up. Or if it ever will. Comment below. I hate this era, yo. 80s is so hideous, man.
Tell me what it is.
Upper Deck.
Topps.
Donruss.
Topps.
Donruss is probably my favorite.
Right now, I'd say Donruss right now.
86, 87, Fleer.
Upper Deck.
I prefer Upper Deck.
Fleer.
Topps.
I like the Topps the best because it carries on the tradition. It's been there for years, and they don't flood the market trying to just sell the most cards that they can. Upper Deck.
Reggie.
You know, all the all-time greats that we'll never see again, and they'll never be playing again, and who have set records that will never be broken. That's real baseball.
But I think all the old cards are great. I mean, they're worth a lot of money, and they do bring some spirit of baseball. If you're an older person, kids just, like, collect them because of the money. They go, whoa, if we get this card, I trade my collection for a 52 Mantle because it's just worth so much. But I like it for the spirit of collecting and just because it's worth a lot of money. I think the older cards are also better than the newer cards. Those cards back then, because they're just better. There's limited quantities and things like that.
People like the new cards. They like to buy large quantities for investment purposes and so forth. I don't think they'll ever be worth what the old cards are. I don't think a rookie Don Mattingly, for example, is going to be worth what a rookie Mickey Mantle was, because they just weren't preserved, the number of nice condition Mickey Mantles. By 1984, when the Don Mattingly rookie came out, people knew to keep them in beautiful condition and put them in their notebooks or in the boxes. So
yeah.
Those will never be worth what the Mickey Mantles are.
Kids today...
That's exactly what's happening right now, too. I think about all this stuff, man. Like, we're taking too much care of the cards off the bat. Like, all the cards are mint condition. All of them. There is no EX. There are hardly any.
Aren't really into old-time baseball, which is a shame. You know, they don't know who Joe DiMaggio was or who Ty Cobb was. They know who, like, Pete Rose is or Don Mattingly or Will Clark. That's good, too.
Yeah, and now I don't even know who those people are. So it's kind of like there's only a really small window. The name has to transcend time. You know, that's what it kind of comes down to. The person's name, is their name going to transcend, move through time, and everybody just continues to know who they are? I mean, I'm surprised Mickey Mantle, like, I don't think I would know who Mickey Mantle is if it weren't for cards, actually. That's actually a fact. So I wouldn't even count him. Babe Ruth, yeah. Jordan, we don't know. It's still kind of early for Jordan. We don't know how long Jordan is going to transcend time. We won't know, actually, until we're like old. LeBron, So it's not many names that I could say are transcending time.
But, you know, there's somebody who they looked up to. I think they should know that. It's very important.
Yes, I think the oversaturation of all these baseball cards, Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Score, and the names go on, they offer all these little debut sets, rookie sets. I mean, one or two, like traded, that's a good set to have. One or two from each is okay, but it's just ridiculous at this point.
I came up with the concept a few years ago of having a kids-only auction at my store, and we run them here about every month. And what we do is we take maybe 50 to 70 different items, some complete sets, some rookie cards, some lots of cards, 100-card lots with no minimum bid. And we line them up, and the kids come in with their price guides and their pencils and paper. They write down the lots that they're interested in bidding in. And I start a regular auction. Parents are allowed to be here, they just can't bid. They usually wind up giving the money to the kids, but they can't do the bidding. And I set it up in such a way that if, for example, I have an item that may have, like a Darryl Strawberry rookie card, that's in the book for about $15, I'll start the bidding at maybe $9. If it goes up to $15, I stop the bidding. So the kids can never pay more than the usual retail price for the card.
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous.
And the kids really enjoy it, and the parents enjoy it.
What cars do you like better, the old ones or the new ones?
Probably the new ones. Because I can relate to the superstars that now more than I can relate to them then.
Do you collect baseball cards?
Yeah.
You do? Why is that?
I don't know.
I collect Kirby Puckett just because he's my favorite player, not for money.
You mentioned that the kids come in now and they're not thinking of collecting anymore. It's a business, and you're right, it is a business. Used to be people came and they would buy packs and open it up and collect the whole set and try to put it together themselves. Now,
I really have high hopes for like the early 2000s era. I think that those cards are rare enough. There just isn't a real superstar from that era outside of Tom Brady and LeBron. But yeah, I think that era has some gems. Steph Curry too. You would think that stuff would already be pumping. Like LeBron needs to retire. Steph needs to retire.
come in and buy a whole set at a time, buy everything from.
Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more about speculating on players and who to buy. I do a lot of that.
Investment, and usually what they think is a good investment is not. A lot of people buy new stuff thinking they're going to make hundreds of dollars, and for the most part they're buying things that are going to go down, not up. Whereas if they bought things that were actually for collecting, they would make more money in the long run. They would get both at the same time. If they bought Ruth cards, which they can still get relatively cheap, which surprised people, you can get Ruth cards for the same price as a Canseco. You'd have a collection and the money at the same time, and they make a lot more in the long run.
I don't think the spirit's lost. I think it's a stepping stone. You have to start with the new stuff and work your way. You can't just go buy Mantles if you don't know what you're buying.
Right.
So the kids that are buying these $2 and $3 cards, they're learning the appreciative value of these cards. They fight for their guide every day or every week to see how much their card went up, and they're happy when they made some money. And that's a stepping stone. First they'll work with 89s, then they'll go to 84, and then pretty soon they'll be down in the 50s and the 30 cards. And that just comes with experience. You don't just do that instantly, you know. And
yeah, I think it is important. I don't do enough of that, like going back down, because I mean, sports are taking off. Cars are taking off now, so I don't really like I haven't bought any Jordans in a while because these cars are just going up and up and up. I think after basketball season, it might cool down. But yeah, I don't work my way back that very far past Jordan. That's about as far back as I go when it comes to cards. Just don't have any interest in the stuff, man. It kind of sucks for me, actually, because if I had more interest, I'd make more money.
Again, condition is the key. When they do learn that they try to sell their dollar card and they only get 10 cents because it's got a little crease in it, they learn to take care of them. They buy them, they put them in a nice hard sleeve, and they take care of them. And that's the
nostalgia aspect is gone, which is why you'll find some people sell autographed baseballs, try to get some of it back. Plus, it's a lot more fun to do that instead of seeing the same old pieces of cardboard the whole time. That's why if you walk around, you see a few people who have tables full of baseballs of Mickey Mantle, stuff like that. Stuff that's fun to collect, which is what we try to do.
So you think the whole spirit of baseball is gone?
I don't think there's any question. If you look around, what kids are buying, they're buying new rookies hoping they'll go up. People they never heard of. Greg Jeffries was $8 when he had 3 hits in the majors. Now they're $3. Now that he has a few hundred hits in the majors. The spirit is absolutely gone.
Let's see, Greg Jeffries. That's somebody that I'm trying to find some hope, like for like 99 cents. There's a PSA 8 for $15.
Hope it comes back. I don't think it will.
Everybody's putting big price tags on these cards, but a kid will come in the store and he'll want to buy. I mean, a kid can't buy a Mickey Mantle card because it's $300, but a young kid today doesn't want to buy a Mickey Mantle card. He never saw Mickey Mantle. He's not interested in Mickey Mantle. He'd rather buy a Don Mattingly card anyway for $3 or $5, or if he can buy the rookie card for $30 or $40. So as far as that aspect, I don't think that it's hurting. I mean, because this market was supposed to be, at one point it was for kids, but that's strictly out of the window. I mean, it's really for everybody now. Adults and kids collect in their own set ways. Adults might go after the old cards because they want to go after players from when they saw baseball. And they might, being an adult, he might be able to afford spending $100. But a kid, it doesn't bother him in any way that he can't buy a Willie Mays, a Mickey Mantle, Johnny Bench card. Because, like I said, he never saw those guys. He's really not interested in them. He's interested in the new players. He knows more about new cards than a lot of adults do. I have a lot of kids come in the store. They know all about the new players. They know a lot more than adults because they follow the cards, the new cards. So they're happy. And then, like I said, I don't think the spirit of collecting is hurt by that. It's just that the prices have really gone up. But people are still willing to pay for them.
Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams, Yankee Stadium, to Babe Ruth, that kind of, and they're idolized by kids. Sometimes they're not always great idols, but it's very American. It's a nice hobby. It's collecting cards, like collecting stamps, coins, which I do. You find a lot of guys that collect cards are coin collectors, stamp collectors, sometimes antique collectibles, anything that's collectible. If there's anything that's American, it's baseball cards.
Wow. I wouldn't trade my baseball cards for all the money in the world.
You should have.
Bobby Thompson had done it.
That was great. What do you guys think? Are we in another junk wax era? Or we just can't go through another junk wax era? Will these cards be the next generation of cards that are worth nothing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments so I know what to do. All right? Talk to you in the next one. Peace.